Well, hey guys, I wanted to bring you all a quick tour of this 2013 GMC Yukon SLT. It's a Yukon XL actually, and this is my dad's rental vehicle while his truck is being fixed. And so anyways, we'll go ahead and start it up on this icy Monday evening. And it is very cold, but what you're seeing on the ground is sleet, not snow, but it is snowing a little bit and snowed off and on this morning. But most of what you're seeing on the ground is sleet. And so anyways, we'll go ahead and start it. Of course, this is just GM's familiar key, and I don't know why this key says Chevrolet when this is a GMC, but whatever. Go ahead and hit lock. And you can see it does have remote start. And then coming to the doors, you do have body color door handles all the way around. And then to power on the rest of the vehicle's features, all you need to do is just stick the key in the ignition and twist to start. So let's go ahead and turn on the automatic headlamps, fog lamps, as well as the hazards, and we'll check out the exterior. And it does have an automatic down driver's side window. So coming to the exterior of this generation Yukon, I personally think it has aged pretty well. It is beginning to show its age, but I think GM released the 2015 generation just in time. So starting off, you can see this one is finished in what I believe General Motors calls Black Raven, but I'm not 100% sure on the color. I could be wrong. If any of you guys know for sure, feel free to correct me. Here's the rental sticker right here. That's how you distinguish it's a rental. You can see some ice built up underneath the windshield wiper there. And it is about 23 degrees outside, so if I sound like I'm shivering, then that's because I am. Here you have your chrome-plated Yukon XL badge with body side guard moldings running down the side. Body-colored mirrors with some ice. There are no LED turn signals in the mirrors, which is a strange omission. I was kind of thinking that this one would have that, seeing as how it has a leather, but I guess I was wrong. You also have black plastic running boards, which are very slippery right now. Almost busted it a little bit earlier. Coming to the rims, let's see, 265/70 R17s. Goodyear Eagle tires. This one has 26,000 miles, so the tires aren't the greatest, if I'm honest. You can see the little nubs around the tire are frozen over. Here's your fuel filler door right here. It is an E85 compatible vehicle, which is nice. You do have just your standard reflector beam tail lamps, nothing fancy there. And then your reverse lamps are down below. Yukon XL badge right here. And this rear glass does open separately. You just have to use the key fob to open it. But we'll go ahead and take a look back here. You can see you have your GMC badge right there. And it does have a reverse backup camera as well, and I'll demonstrate that when we go inside. But taking a look at the interior, you can see you have ample storage back here. That's one of the perks of having a Yukon XL. So there's no shortage of storage at all. So that is very nice, but there isn't, wow, almost slipped. There is no power tailgate on this one. And then right there is your single exhaust outlet for the 5.3 liter Vortec V8. Very nice sounding exhaust, nice and burbly. Again, this side's frozen over. You have chrome badge right here, body colored mirrors, and this mirror actually is stuck. We can't get it to move because it's just so frozen in. So that's fantastic. And that back tire back there is different from all the rest, which makes me think it may have had a blowout at one point or gotten a flat or something. But coming to the front, you can see you have your standard halogen headlamps, fog lamps located in the bumper, and there are also tow hooks down there. And then you have a black plastic grille with your GMC badge located right there, and it is accented in chrome as well. So let's go ahead and open up the hood and see what she's got. And to do that, all you need to do is just pull on that latch there, and it'll ding saying the hood's open, obviously. And then just find this latch, push it to the right, and lift. And what you're seeing is a very dirty 5.3 liter Vortec V8 hooked up to General Motors 6-speed automatic, and I'll add all the power specs and fuel economy information into the annotations right here. It is strut assisted, so you don't have to have a prop, which is nice. So we'll go ahead and finally get inside and turn on this heated seat here and warm up. The window is not automatic up, which I find to be one of the signs that shows the age of this generation Yukon. But starting off with the gauges, you can see they light up in a nice bluish green color, and we'll go ahead and give the engine a couple of revs. Pretty nice sounding engine. There's a rev limiter between 4,000 and 4,500 RPM, so it definitely produces a very nice growl. Most General Motors V8s do nowadays. Starting off with the top of the dashboard, materials are hard touch, and there have been a lot of complaints with these materials, and GM has definitely rectified that in the newest generation of the Tahoe Yukon platform. Airbag cover right over here. Coming down, you have some faux wood accenting right here. I'm not sure if this is real or fake aluminum. I believe it's fake, but I'm not 100% sure. Your air vents right there, and then your driver information center. Here's your column mounted shifter for your 6-speed automatic. And I love the fact that it's a column shifter. I just really like a column shifter. And as I said, this one has 26,143 miles, and it's 24 degrees outside, so I'm just kind of thawing out right now. Hazards are located right up here. Here's your cruise control, and then your volume controls and your multifunction controls are located right here. I believe this one has hands-free telephone, but I'm not sure. Here's your wiper controls and your turn signals and your rear wiper control, which is kind of clunking around back there because it's frozen over. Putting the vehicle in reverse reveals a reverse backup camera in the rearview mirror. So that is a very nice and very handy feature. I like that. It does also have OnStar, which is a GM signature thing. Here's your automatic headlamps right over here, fog lamp controls, dome off controls, and then your interior lighting. So that is pretty nice that you have that, and this just pops in and out like so. And if this one were a 4-wheel drive model, the 4-wheel drive switch would be located right here, but unfortunately it is not, which would be kind of appreciated in this weather, honestly, but that's okay. They don't really carry 4-wheel drive rentals around here. Heated seat controls, it's not cooled. Here you have your power mirrors, power windows, power window locks, and power door locks. Fake chrome plated door handle, and a lot of these will peel, and they can become quite sharp from the ones that I've seen, and that is not fun to deal with. Materials on the top of the door, they are soft, sort of. It's more like plastic coated in a little bit of rubber. Materials here, basically hard to the touch. You do have a padded armrest, but it is peeling. You can see I can just pull that up like that, which is unfortunate. And everything here down is the hard, grainy plastic that GM has been criticized for in years of recent. But they seem to be going away from this and kind of taking care of it with their newest generation vehicles. Coming over to the head unit, it's just General Motors basic head unit, no navigation or anything on this one. You do have dual zone automatic climate control, so that is nice. Dual power ports, power adjusting pedals, and here's your parking sensors. You can turn those off like that, and then your traction control off right there. Nice storage area. My dad has his little thing for getting in hospitals right here, and then his sunglasses, and then your two very large cup holders are located back behind here. Armrest is padded and wrapped in vinyl, and it is definitely vinyl, I can tell by looking at it. black plastic right here. Lifting this up reveals a nice size center console, and Dad has a few things in there, and you do have a USB port to play your music. But I won't be able to demonstrate the stereo due to YouTube copyright issues. I get hate for that all the time, and I thought I'd take a moment to explain why. I've had a couple of videos get flagged for audio clips, and I can't play them anymore, and I don't want to lose my monetization, so that's where I stand on that. If you don't like that I don't show the audio, go find somebody else's videos. It's not my problem. You do have more of the faux aluminum trim right here, and I believe it's faux. I can't decide for sure, and I haven't been able to decide ever since this generation came out. Opening up the glove box, it is decently sized, and you have your books in there, so that is nice that it has those in there. No floor mats in here though, it's just the standard carpet floors, which is weird. And the radar detector just decided to beep at me. Coming to the steering wheel, it is leather wrapped, but it is very thin. It's a very thin rim, and it does seem to be wearing pretty badly, unfortunately. Some of the leather pattern that was on it is kind of gone. Here's your horn here in the middle. I won't honk that just so I don't make the neighbors angry. Now coming up to the headliner. Headliner is nice and soft. It doesn't feel like a paper towel like some cars do. Mirror and vanity light for both sides, which is very nice. Nice big sun visors. Interior lighting right here. Home link controls. But if this one had a power tailgate, that's where it would be, but it does not have that. So it's just a blank panel, and I wish they would have turned it into like a sunglasses holder, but they didn't. So that really pretty much wraps it up for the front seat. And we'll go ahead and check out the back seat, and this is about where I'd have the seat to drive. I'm just trying to avoid the running boards right now because they are very, very slippery, and it's starting to snow again, so that's nice. Getting into the back seat, there's loads of room back here. I'm about 5'11" to 6 foot, depending on what shoes I have on. And I have plenty of knee room. Feet have sort of enough room to go up under the seat, but the seats are a little narrow, and there's stuff up under there, so I can't really fit my feet in there all that well. Same materials as the front. Padded armrest, padded up here, basically hard right there. It's just like a rubberized plastic. Faux wood, power window right here, which the power windows are ridiculously fast in this thing. And they did finally decide to make them go all the way down. Who would have thought that that would be a good idea and people would appreciate it? That's just a complaint I've had with this generation truck. You do have two O-blank handles right back here. One in the roof and one on the B-pillar. You do have dual map pockets, one on each side, and Dad has a giant box right here, so that's annoying. But there is a fold-down center armrest right here with cup holders. You can see them, but I'm not going to be able to fold that completely down due to the box being in the way. You do have radio controls back here and rear climate controls. 12-volt power outlet right there, and fold-down center cup holders, which are very cheaply put together. You can hear I can just snap them around. So I don't really like that, but seats are decently comfortable back here. They're not bad at all. There's plenty of thigh support. The seat's nicely tilted back, and it also does recline with this little lever right over here, or I take that back. The bench seat does not recline, but the bucket seats do, so that's a weird omission. I don't really get that. I don't know why they decided to do it that way, but whatever. I guess they have their reasons. And the rear seat does fold, and I'll access the third row from the other side. Good gosh, it's freezing cold out here. So, coming around and accessing the third row, the rear seats fold up just like that, and the third row is pretty terrible in these, if I'm honest, but in the Yukon XL, it does at least raise it off the floor some. But scooting over here, there is just enough room to fit my feet slide up under the seat pretty well, and the seats themselves are fairly comfortable, and I'm really glad these are raised off the floor in the Yukon XL, but in the regular Yukon they are not. And I speak from experience because we had a 2011 GMC Yukon Denali at one point, and they sat literally flat on the floor, and you can see my complaint with that there. It was very uncomfortable and terrible for even about 45 minutes. You were tired of it and wanted out. But you have 2 cup holders over there with a storage tray, and 2 cup holders over here with a storage tray. All materials back here are the grainy plastic, which can actually rub your hide off. My dad did that in our Yukon. He was getting into the passenger seat and his knee brushed the glove box, and it took the skin off of his knee. So that was unfortunate. And I will be filming the test drive at a later date due to road conditions being kind of bad outside the neighborhood. You can see there's icy places here and there inside the neighborhood, but once you go out, roads do get pretty sketchy. So I'll film that at a later date. But anyways, we'll go ahead and insert the test drive clip here, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. Well, hey guys, let's go ahead and get started here on this, rainy Saturday afternoon. I think it's Saturday. I don't know. It's spring break, so I don't care. Well, this is actually my second time trying to make this video. The first time I did it, it was just absolutely terrible, and I hated it. So I thought I would try again. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get out of here. So as you can see, it is lovely and rainy and disgusting out here. That's scratching around. So one of the very first things that you'll notice when you get into the Yukon is how nice the 6.2 liter V8, or not 6.2 liter, 5.3 liter V8 sounds. General Motors, ever since they released this generation back in 2007, has known how to produce a good sounding V8, and this one's definitely no exception. I won't really be able to get on it much just because of wet roads, and seeing as how this one's a rental, if anything happened, I would be basically screwed. But it definitely sounds really good. I think there's a wheel off balance in this one or something, because it makes kind of like a whoop 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 sound or something. But it's not too bad, and ride quality in these things is absolutely spectacular, especially when you have the smaller 17-inch rims and the longer wheelbase version. Ride quality is just really, really good. Very smooth. You can see we went through that giant dip back there, and it just kind of went through it, and there wasn't a whole lot of residual rocking after we went through the dip, which is something that I can't say about our 2011 Yukon Denali. It just didn't really handle bumps all that well, and it had the auto ride suspension, but even with it, it just wasn't very comfortable. Like I said, the V8 sounds absolutely spectacular, but our Yukon Denali just wasn't really all that comfortable. It had a lot of residual rocking after you went over a dip, especially that one back there. It was just really bad, but this one seems to be pretty well sorted out with the longer wheelbase and the 17-inch rims, so I can't really complain there, and it's not bad at all. But as you can hear back there, the V8 sounds really good. I have to say that this engine honestly sounds a little, or not sounds, but feels a little bit almost overworked for the Yukon XL and the Suburban. We had a rental a lot like this one in Utah last year, and the altitude up there was high, and you really had to push it to get it to go. We're about 400 or 500 feet above sea level where I live, and it doesn't really have an effect on the power, but up there it certainly did. And especially when you're pulling up hills like this one, you can definitely tell that the engine's working harder. It just takes a little bit longer to get it up and moving, but it's still, I mean, it gets out of its own way pretty well. I mean, it's no red light racer at all, but it's not bad, and it's definitely doable. Noise in here, it's about average for the class, I would say. It's not too terribly loud, but it's not the quietest thing either. Wind noise really isn't that bad, but road noise is a little on the high side, and I drove a 2007 Escalade. You all have seen the video on that, and I have to say the road noise in it was a lot better controlled, and it had 17-inch rims as well. But I think it had 17s. It was 17s or 19s, I don't remember. But it had pretty small rims on it, and the road noise was pretty quiet in it, but this one is a little bit on the higher side. But that just kind of goes to show that this is a little bit more of a dated generation than the new ones. Obviously, this one dates back to the 2007 model year, and you can definitely tell its age is definitely out there, or its age is up there, not out there. Materials in here aren't quite up to par, and it's just not quite where it needs to be. But I have to say, it's still, when this generation was current, it was top of the class, because Ford's Expedition is just, I mean, it's the same Expedition we had back in 2004. We had an 04 Eddie Bauer, and it feels exactly the same. The interior looks a little bit different, but it's basically the same vehicle, and I just don't quite like that. But seat comfort in here is pretty good. I can't say that it's near as good as my 2005 Tahoe I had, but that's, praise doesn't get any higher than the seats in the 05 Tahoe. Those were just the best that I've ever sat in. These are a little bit narrower and a little bit lacking on thigh support, in my opinion. They're not uncomfortable seats, but our truck seats are a lot more comfortable. The front ones are. The back ones suck in our truck. But the back seats in here are pretty comfortable. They're not the greatest, and they're nowhere near where my Tahoe was. But it's not that bad, and I wouldn't be uncomfortable in here at all. I mean, I would drive this thing cross country, because that's what these are built to do. Handling in here, there is quite a lot of body roll. Actually, we'll go straight and we'll go down the highway a little bit. There is quite a lot of body roll in these trucks, I have to say. But it's a freaking huge tank, and it's a big boy, and these aren't designed to be handling machines. They're just road kings. And I apologize, my tripod is tilted. That's a little bit better. But these just aren't really cut out to do handling at all. But you stick them 55 to however fast you want to go down the highway, and they ride great down the highway. I mean, they're not uncomfortable trucks at all. Our Yukon was a great highway cruiser. But when you show it the twisties, that's when it kind of starts to all fall apart. There's a ton of body roll, and the nose dives in, and it pushes, and it rolls. But compared to the rest of the class, and I'm trying to straighten this tripod back up, so bear with me. But compared to the rest of the class, this one does handle pretty well, I have to say. It's not bad. And my Tahoe handled really well, but it was also a shorter vehicle than this as well. So, credit where credit's due, these handle pretty well for what they are, but they're just out of their comfort zone with the twisties. That's just all there is to it. But visibility in here also is really, really good. I have no trouble with blind spots. Our 2011 Yukon had blind spot warnings, but I never needed it, just because I could always see perfectly fine. And it was just a really easy truck to see out of, and this one is very easy to see out of too. You have a great view over the front. You have a nice commanding view over the hood. You do see the hood, but you can definitely tell where the four corners of the car is, or where the corners are rather. So it's great just to go cruising in. Decently powerful. The fuel economy, let's see, where are we getting in this one? 16 miles to the gallon, and I'm sure that's got a lot of highway in there, seeing as how this one's a 2013 with about 26,300 miles on it, I believe. So it definitely has the miles on it, but it still feels pretty tight. I mean, there is a little bit of play in the steering, but that's just how all of these are. I remember that. I've driven so many of these generations. I remember that quite well. That's just how these are. But it's not bad at all. 26,000 miles and it still feels pretty solid inside. Seeing as how this one's a rental, obviously it's being used a lot harder than what a normal family would use their truck for. But it's doable in here. I really like the placement of the center console as well, I have to say. They did a really nice job placing it perfectly where it needs to be. My favorite thing to do is just set my elbow on here and hold the steering wheel right between the two spokes, and it's just really easy to go cruising down the highway. That was a run to 50 miles an hour, so you can see it takes its time getting up to speed, but it does get up to speed, and that's really all you can ask for a truck like this to do. People who buy these aren't driving enthusiasts like I am, so they would be perfectly satisfied with the power. But I do feel that maybe they could have gone with the 6-liter in the Suburbans and Yukon XLs, and, well, the Escalades obviously have the 6.2 liter, so it doesn't really matter. But in the Yukon XLs that aren't Denali's and the Suburbans, I think they could definitely do with the 6-liter V8. I think it would feel a lot more responsive and eager to satisfy you on your power needs. But you can see this road here, pretty rough, and I'm going over the roughest parts of it, and it handles the bumps just fine. I mean, I just can't complain about the ride quality in here because it's very nice and smooth. And these are designed to be family haulers, and with all the room that you have in here, and if you have a family, I would absolutely recommend going for the Yukon XL, especially if you have more than 2 kids, because the extra room in the 3rd row is great. You would never ever miss that room. So that about concludes our tour and test drive on this 2013 GMC Yukon SLT, the XL SLT. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching.